The Subcommittee on Government Operations, Federal Workforce will come to order, and I want to welcome everybody. I apologize for our slight delay today. Without objection, the Chair may declare a recess at any time. I recognize myself for the purpose of making an opening statement. I want to thank Mr. Dondero for being here, his professionalism, not only to see things that Ms. Mfume and I may thoughtfully articulate with him. We have presented to him that we believe that's what we're here to do today, and we appreciate it. Today's hearing on Government Accountability's Office 2024 Annual Report on Fragmentation, Overlap, and Duplication is an important process that certainly has gone through with the GAO. Perhaps the core responsibility of this subcommittee is to ensure the business of government is conducted as efficiently as possible. This includes ensuring agencies provide excellence in customer care. It includes ensuring agencies have guardrails in place to prevent waste, fraud, and abuse, because, in fact, it's the taxpayer that is paying for the resources that this government operates. As we all know, not a new story, federal programs have not always been good stewards of public funding, nor of proper management, nor of the delivery of those services, perhaps that were expected by a customer, but perhaps more importantly, by Congress and our intent as we laid out in law and in appropriations for this government to perform services on the American people's behalf. And to be fair, even when federal agencies strive for excellence, there's always room for improvement. I spent 16 years in the private sector, had over 700 employees around the state of Texas, and it's difficult to always meet through the expectation of a customer to have employees always meet those expectations. But we will continue this conversation today, and we'll find out how we can get better. Oversight in this Congress has uncovered difficult ways federal programs have fallen short in efforts to achieve their mission on behalf of the American taxpayer. And although, Mr. Mfume, look forward to ask you questions, we want to hear your perspective. We believe that there is an interest that your agency has, not only in the performance of taxpayer money, but also because we believe federal employees too show up to work and want to gain confidence, not just in the work that they do, but to perform them admirably on behalf of those who might be customers, but are perhaps more importantly taxpayers. We've explored how to best measure the impact of widespread telework among federal workers to ensure that telework policies are implemented in a way that benefits the American people. We are not sure we have heard back from agencies properly about how they want to manage that, how they want to look at the metrics, how they would develop esprit within their agencies, what things they have learned, the things which would allow us to know more about them. And this federal government has been lacking in its performance and communication with this committee and subcommittee. We've called on the Internal Revenue Service, the State Department, Social Security Administration, and other agencies directly at the top of those organizations on a bipartisan basis to improve customer service, reduce backlogs, and overcome long-standing challenges with modernization in their information systems and the technology that they use. We've examined the federal response to natural disasters, including a field hearing in Florida where we saw firsthand recovery efforts from Hurricane Ian. I must say that we believe, because the agency reported back, that they felt like that we worked with them. They felt like our feedback and our attention enabled them to hone and focus what they believed they needed to do, perhaps that they had not been directly attaching success to those projects the way they would have wanted. We've urged the U.S. Postal Service leadership to take necessary action to ensure Americans have a reliable postal service for years to come. Far be it from me, but we're still in those negotiations. And we will continue and not give up on behalf of not only the American people, but we will look at this on a bipartisan issue because, in fact, the Postal Service is important to us whether you live in a city, whether you own a business, whether you're a senior citizen, or live in a rural area. So I'm proud to say our subcommittee, us working together, has conducted, I think, our work in a fair and bipartisan way. We think you being here today is important. We think the issues that you will bring to bear today are not only about the bottom line of money, but about the quality of service that your agency is expected to perform and deliver. In the last 14 years, actions to address GAO's recommendations in the report taken by Congress and federal agencies, I did not make this number up, it is reported $667 billion in financial benefits. There were just, again, this is a report that I fully accept, $71.3 billion in savings the past year. Does your agency make a difference? Yes, it does. Do other agencies within this federal government need to listen to you and continue that work? Yes, they do. And so today, as we spoke the other day, Mr. Dondero, I believe this subcommittee needs to do a better job of working with you, of us bringing agencies in and making sure they're achieving those things so that we can take the $71 billion and turn it into $100 billion later. We need to continue our efficiency. So we're pleased today to have Jean L. Dondero as a witness today, who's Comptroller General of the Government Accounting Office. We're also pleased to have members of his senior team that flank him, who also can provide additional information, as I'm sure they will do in notes, but it should be a pat on the back that you give them as not just federal employees, but people who are committed to the efficiency on behalf of the American people. So, with that said, I appreciate you being here, Jean. Longtime friend, long-term fan that I am of yours. And I yield the time to the distinguished ranking member of this subcommittee, Mr. Wingfield, for any message he'd like to give us. Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you,